Hey everybody, it's Josh. I wanted to do a video real quick, which means I'm going to ramble on forever. but I've been thinking a lot about demons. Now, I never really believed in demons before I was born again. I never believed in some possessed people. I thought the exorcisms that they did were just made up garbage. I thought there had to be some other explanation to this because I never thought of anything spiritual being real. Even though I knew deep down, I could sense that. I could sense spirits. I could sense something greater. But I swear to you, my mind just would not allow it to be real. And I think that one of the biggest reasons God puts us where we are, through the hell that we go through when we are born again, or before we are born again, and then even after, He's training us to fight these demons. We are all warriors in the spiritual war, in one way, shape, or form. Some of us may be healers. Some of us may be right on the front lines. Dog talking to me. Had the owls hooting at me earlier. It's one of those evenings. Oh, I see my owl going now. Oh man, I wish I could have got him on there. He flew away from me. But we are here to fight off this evil. And I don't think it is like the exorcisms that you see. I think you have to be deeply, deeply devoted to Christ. This is why they probably get priests, because priests are sacrificing everything in their life to give it to God. Now, most of us regular people don't do that. We can't do that. It's just, we don't really want to. Well, people who have been through the torturous hell that I've been through, you start to want anything but the life that you had. So you give it all to God and you fight those demons. And it is not like the Exorcist movies. There's a newer movie that's on Netflix, I think, called The Deliverance. I know that's not like Deliverance like the old one with, what is it? Burt Reynolds, I think he was in it. It's not the Squeal Like a Pig Deliverance. But I am telling you, we are in this battle if we decide to surrender our lives to Him. I shouldn't call it this war. We're in this war, and it is a constant, relentless attacks. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be dealing with possessed people crawling up the walls or levitating over their beds. I'm not saying you're going to be dealing with... I really don't know what you're going to be dealing with. Only God knows. I know that I have had spiritual attacks unlike I've ever seen before in my life. I may have had them before, I just was too blind to see. But in these last few months, I've gotten them and they've been clear as day. And I was too weak to fight them. And I think that all of us are too weak to fight them. because we're not spiritual beings. So how would we ever compete with that? Oh man. I'm going this way, following my geese. I hear them. They're all out tonight. They're all out tonight. I don't know what that means. I'm going to have to go home and meditate on it, talk to God. But my owls, saw a beautiful hawk earlier, my geese. It's just, there's good and there's bad omens tonight. They're all stirring up. They're all stirring up, and I don't know what's in store. I don't know if something's going to happen tonight or if this is just an omen for things to come. But I am a warrior of peace now. My only purpose here is to fight these demons off. And I'm not doing it with, holy water and holding out my crucifix. Although I am going to make myself a crucifix. I'm going to. I'm going to get some wood. I'm going to make a wooden crucifix somehow. Somehow I'm going to do it. I'm horrible at making stuff, but I'm going to make a good one. I need it out of things of nature. I thought about getting a cross necklace or something for a man. And it's just not my style. I need a wooden cross made from the trees that I find. But we're not fighting them like they do on TV. How we're fighting them is slowly and methodically. We're not doing even what Christ did. Christ delivered the demon from the man and put it into a pig and ran the pig off a cliff. I don't even think we're going to have to go that far, but it's not going to be easy. I just want to prepare you all, those who have been walking in the shadow of death for so long. You are doing this because that is where the front lines are. But you follow the Holy Spirit. Hey, buddy. My neighbor's dog's out. I'm in my backyard here. You follow the Holy Spirit, and He takes you exactly where you need to go. And every single footstep, every single word, it's exactly where we need to go. The front lines are bloody and they're gory and they're chaotic. And my last video was about finding a place of peace you can go to. Finding that place of peace and hearing the words of God. We need to do this because we have to draw closer to Him. Look, even if you're a lukewarm Christian, even if you don't even believe, you're going to be in this. It's coming, whether you like it or not. It is coming. And let me tell you, it is not going to work out great for anyone who has not surrendered their life to Christ yet. Now, I'm not saying that to put pressure on you. I'm just preparing you. You can not believe me all you want. But if you see the strange things happening in this life and you're just like, wow, you don't have any explanation for them. But you just think, oh, we're just, it's just chaotic world. It's a fallen world. And this time is exactly like the times they told us would be right before the very end, right before the end days. There has never been a time that is lined up perfectly like it has now. We're having the one world government formed. We're having the mark of the beast. We're having the beast itself. The Antichrist has not shown himself to the world yet, but he will. Maybe it'll be AI. I don't know. AI has power that's way above humans. And possessing that knowledge is something that John told us, the prophet John told us, the Antichrist would have. So we have to... Oh, now there's an alarm going off. This is why I usually drive somewhere to get a little peace when I'm out. It used to be really nice in my backyard. I used to have a wooded area that I could just walk into and just be at peace. And now it is a bike trail. Now it is a park over here. Let's see. There's a dog park and there's a playground. And I went to town hall to get them put in, so it's my park. No. Soak up the peace when you can. Because the dogs of war are barking. They might be a little ankle biters like the one my neighbor has. But it is coming. And Revelation is not supposed to be scary for Christians, even though it is the bloodiest book in the Bible. It's not supposed to make us nervous and worried. It's supposed to bring us true Christians peace. I know it brings me peace. I've never found peace in such chaos like this, and I never thought I would. Do what you can to be prepared. Just go out and try to form a relationship with God. You might think it's dumb. You might think it's pointless. I get it. But what do you have to lose? You know, here's what I recommend to some people who have that feeling like, oh, I'm not going to do that. It's not going to work. Just go out and say, I'm going to go to a wooded area or find a different park explore the parks around your area, or go to the same park wherever you can find a little bit of peace, and go walk there, get some exercise. It's good for you. And if nothing happens, then the only thing you've sacrificed is a little bit of time, and you've gained at least a little physical fitness. And I'm guaranteeing you're clear in your mind. So what does it hurt to go out there and to start talking to God? Don't have any biases going out. Don't have any preconceived notions. Preconceptions. I don't know what that means. Go out there and talk to the author of life, talk to the unknown God in the universe, and beg him, or just tell him your problems and ask him, please show me. I want to believe, but I can't believe until my eyes or my spiritual eyes can see. This is what I did. But just a little bit of warning in advance. You have to be to a point where you're genuine, that you will give your life to him when he shows you. If you're not to that point, you're not going to see a thing. You're going to maybe feel the calling a little stronger. That just means you have a little longer to go, so you have to have patience. And just make it your habit. This is your physical fitness. Instead of going to the gym, go out, maybe ride your bike. Who knows? Anything out in nature. I say nature because nature is where we are closest to God. If you live by the mountains, try to go to the mountaintops once every at least few months. And that is a glorious place to hear his voice. I used to, when I was in good shape, there was a place called Signal Knob in Virginia in the northern Shenandoah Valley. And I would run. It was about, I want to say 4.5 to 6 miles. It was somewhere in there, up and back. No, up 4.5 up and about 4.5 back. So it was a long way. But I would run up the mountain and then, jog down. Yeah, I was beast. A lot of good that did me, right? But I went up that mountain because it was calling to me. And that's one thing I always did, even though I did almost everything wrong when I was younger. When I was called, I followed the calling. And I didn't always do it the right way. But when I heard God, when I could feel him calling me, something deep inside, I always tried to follow that thread. I always tried to follow the trail of breadcrumbs. And most of the time, the birds had already eaten those breadcrumbs long before. And I was left just as lost, if not more than ever. But the biggest times for me were when I was called to the ocean. I was called to the Caribbean Ocean, and specifically. And I was obsessed with it. I could not stop thinking about the Caribbean Ocean, and I did not know why. And I finally, when I was 15, I got to go on a trip to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, and the first place I actually got to see the Caribbean was in Tulum, Mexico. And that was where I felt and I heard God clear as day. And now, this later in life, I have been called to the mountains again. And I moved away from the mountains because I wanted to be closer to the ocean. And now I'm called back to the mountains again. And I don't know why. I don't ever know why. Until I finally get there and I finally see. I see why God made me obsessed with the Caribbean, because he wanted me to see that side of him. That is where he could talk to me. And somehow I'd understand it best when I was sitting on a rock on a cliff above the Caribbean. And in the mountains, I'd always felt his comfort, even though I never recognized it until I was born again. That's a common theme. And over the past, I don't know, maybe 10 years, I've been called back to the mountains. And I'm like, come on, I was on my way moving all the way closer and closer to the ocean. Now I'm in Raleigh, near Raleigh, North Carolina. And I just wanted to follow him. And now it's like, okay, go back to where you came from. Go back to the mountains. That's somehow, some way, I will go back there, even if it's just to visit. I don't know. I go through the mountains to visit my parents. My parents live in the mountains, but I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure out why he has me do these things and has me bouncing like a ping pong ball back and forth. All I'm smart enough to understand is what he shows me. And that's all I need to know. That we are in this spiritual war, and that no matter how crazy it seems, we have to follow his calling. And now before I go, speaking of the mountains, Western North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia have been devastated these last few days. I'm recording this on Saturday. I don't even know what date it is, but Saturday right after the hurricane. I don't even remember what the name of the hurricane is. The hurricane just hit, but it's flooding everywhere and it's awful. If you guys have anything to give, now I understand a lot of you are poor like me. If you have time, if you have money, if you have clothing, if you have shelter, if you have anything to give, please, please give it. Because they need you right now. Those people have lost everything, man. I mean everything. There was houses floating down the river. Multiple houses. So please, if you have anything, and please pray for them because they need us. I wish I could be up there with them. God has me doing something else right now. If I ever get some extra money, I'm going to give it to them because they need it much more than even I do. So that's all I ask. If you guys can, please donate it to try to find the best place that will give money to the victims of this terrible, terrible flooding. I love you all so much. God bless.